Just a couple days ago, I found out about some very exciting news. Rules of Survival is actually coming back, but it's not in the way you might think. Do you remember Rules of Survival? Of course you do. Everybody remembers that game. That was one of the most iconic mobile games back in the day. It came out back in 2017, and it was basically PUBG Mobile before PUBG Mobile ever even came out. It was pretty much the first proper Battle Royale game for mobile devices that actually ran decently on a majority of devices. You had 120 players in your standard Battle Royale matches, and it just pretty much set off an explosion of so many new cool games coming after it. Before Rules of Survival, we had some good games, but it was like pretty slow for quite a while. And then after Rules of Survival came out, all these NetEase games and Tencent games and Activision games came out, and mobile gaming completely transformed. I've always liked Rules of Survival. I didn't necessarily like the new update that came out a few years ago when they tried to revive it as Rules of Survival 2.0 with this extraction mode type of gameplay. The extraction mode wasn't a good move, and it was basically their last Hail Mary attempt at trying to revive that game, and they shut the game down like 3-4 years ago. We did not think that game was going to ever come back, but there is apparently some independent developers that are trying to recreate Rules of Survival from the ground up, and it actually is getting close to a somewhat of a playable state. We are here on their official channel right now. This is the ROS Revival Official. I should probably subscribe to it, and you guys probably should as well, because these people are doing something we have not seen in a very long time, and that's basically trying to recreate a massive, pretty much AAA game. I don't know if you would say this is a AAA game, but like, you know, for mobile gaming's sake, this is kind of like a AAA mobile game. And you can see from some of these videos here, this is their sneak peek at some of the stuff. This is the first video that they posted, and it's going to get more and more impressive over time. This is just one of the few maps that they have, or few locations in the map, I should say, that they have added the research edifice. But then this is devlog number 1, made by ExxotikGaming. That's their name, ExxotikGaming. So this is sort of what it looks like. And to me, this looks very, very close already to like the real Rules of Survival. Really, the only difference is there's not like, you know, the grasses and the trees and other stuff like that. This is Bitter Lake. And I never really realized how empty it looked without all of the vegetation and stuff like that. But look, there's already a mini map right there. There's your settings. The settings that look exactly the same. I mean, even the UI, everything looks exactly the same as Rules of Survival. So that's very cool. That is your UI, SFX, and player movement, and that was from 8 months ago. Here's Bitter Lake. A month later, they posted this in 7 months ago, whenever 7 months ago was, and I guess this is when Bitter Lake was actually completed. This is it. This is the completed version of that location. And it looks just like Rules of Survival. I don't even remember. Honestly, I mean, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember the grasses moving. You can see there at the bottom right. I don't remember wind moving around on the grasses. But like, if that's something that's added to this game and it doesn't impact performance very much, that's a good thing. That's, you know, not just a copy-paste of Rules of Survival. That is enhancement to the original game. And that's what this game needs. We're going to talk all about like my thoughts on how this game could be successful a bit later on. But we're just going to kind of look at some of these videos to start here. But I am saying this is a very, very good start already. If this big location was already added 7 months ago, I would assume that pretty much the entire map has already been created at this point in time. Because this was like pretty much the biggest location that everybody would go to if they wanted high energy gameplay, I guess you would say. This is a 3-minute long video. And I guess we're going to just go take a look at this here. This is the observatory, and it also says gameplay in the title. Supposedly there's gameplay here in this video. I've never seen any of these videos here, but there's the plane flying over, the iconic airdrop. Maybe we'll see some airdrops on the ground. There's a lot of components to these Battle Royale games that I think over time, all of them are going to be added, but I would assume maybe the very first playable version of this game isn't going to have absolutely everything, you know? But maybe not. Maybe this developer is actually literally trying to completely recreate this game 100% before he releases it. And that looks so much like Rules of Survival. I don't even notice any difference, even graphically. Like, It doesn't even look like it's a downgrade at all in terms of the graphics. Which, you know, is a nice thing because Rules of Survival, it came out back in 2017, doesn't have the best graphics in the entire world. Player model looks pretty much the same. Maybe a tiny less bit detailed, I think. But I think the running animation is the same, right? I mean, this literally, I would be lying if I said I didn't think that this actually was just Rules of Survival with, you know, the HUD turned off. Very interesting, but it looks awesome. I'm assuming, obviously, this person is playing on PC, and maybe this very first version is going to come out for PC, and then it will come for mobile, though it could potentially be developed simultaneously for both types of devices, you know, PC and not console, but mobile at the same time. So I guess this is basically what the gameplay is that they're talking about in the title. It doesn't look like there's any loot on the ground. I don't think this person is testing that out in this video, but just more so kind of running around, seeing what type of performance you're getting. And I don't see any lag, absolutely no lag at all. No dips in the frames or anything like that. It's smooth. There is a gun on this player's back, and I don't know if that's just like a placeholder, cosmetic type thing, but potentially at some point, maybe this person takes the gun out. I don't think so. I have no idea. I think that looks a little bit less detailed. You see this brown chair right here? That looks a little bit less detailed, but very minute. I mean, I don't really remember, man. It's been so long since I played Rules of Survival. I don't really remember. This could be identical. This area looks... This is so nostalgic. That's crazy. This is so nostalgic. All right, let's go take a look at some of the newer videos. This from 6 months ago. Okay, this is the newest one from 1 month ago. So 5 months of silence from this developer between 6 months ago and 1 month ago. There's a lot of different things that they're using here. Physics by NVIDIA, whatever that is. Speed Tree and Unity. So this is going to be created in Unity, which is a great thing. It's not like some obscure development program. Unity is generally a very optimized development program. It's not too hard to make your game run very well on lower end devices. I almost think the shadows are enhanced. Do you see this? Like the trees, they look more lush and realistic compared to what I remember in Rules of Survival. I almost think that the graphics might have been upgraded just a tiny bit here. I don't know. I have no idea. But this is that iconic like loading area when you would spawn into the map and you would wait around. There'd be guns all on all of these tables right here, and you could just run around, jump, and spam shoot everybody. I don't remember. I don't think... Yes, there we go. There we go. Okay. Improved vegetation quality, enhanced materials, improved lighting, new shaders, enhanced ambient occlusion. Everything that I was just talking about, pretty much. Everything that I was just talking about. And then he says here at the very bottom, only available using the ultra quality preset, which is understandable, right? Some of the lowest end devices are probably not going to be able to run this, but like, you know, I don't really think many people are going to have an issue running Rules of Survival on ultra quality. Like, it's not that intensive of a game. You're not trying to run, you know, Warzone Mobile or Arena Breakout on max graphics or anything like that. One more thing. What's the one more thing? Let's go see what it says. It's not telling me anything. I don't know. Is this supposed to be significant, what we're looking at right now? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe we should fast forward. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's the movement. That looks like Rules of Survival right there. This janky player movement that is iconic to Rules of Survival. You might be looking at this if you've never seen Rules of Survival before and think, oh, this looks weird. Like, why is the character moving around so much? That's exactly what you would do in Rules of Survival. The leaning was so janky, and it really captivated so many people, and that's why this game was so successful. There you go. There you go. So, those are the videos that are on the channel right now. But I do want to show you all, they have an entire Discord server, which I will be linking down below in the description. This is the Rules of Survival Revival Discord server. And in their announcements, they post whenever any of these videos get posted. If you scroll up a little bit further, there's just a lot of different posts here. Oh, it says here, our lead and only developer, Ricardo, has been working on God mode since our huge breakthrough this past weekend, and we can't wait to show off this biggest advancement yet. What the heck is God mode? Okay, I'm hoping there's not going to be a cheating issue in this game, but if the developer is already talking about that, I don't really know. We're going to have to see what ends up happening here. But this is apparently the developer, Ricardo, which is different from the name that we saw in the video, which was AX or something like that. I have no idea. And it looks like this developer is, you know, very transparent on what he's doing exactly. He says here, the original animations have been recovered. So that's actual real animations from Rules of Survival that I guess what this person is doing is scraping all of the code and everything like that from the original game somehow. Yeah, there you go. Bitter Lake. That was the iconic place that everybody liked to drop there. And looks like it's a very, very transparent development process, which is very, very cool to see. So I'm just going to add some regular Rules of Survival gameplay now for the next couple of minutes while we talk about a few things here. So Rules of Survival was an iconic game back in the day. Back in 2017, it exploded in popularity almost instantly. Now, it was around for a while before that point. It was actually a Terminator game before it turned into Rules of Survival, and I have a whole video talking about the history of that that I made about a year ago that I can also link down below in the description if you would like to see more about that. But Rules of Survival took the world by storm because it was pretty much the first battle royale game that resembled PUBG in any sense. Like, there were a few others, but they just weren't that good. They were very janky, not too many players online, and they just weren't like very complete games. Rules of Survival was actually a very complete game with tons of content, and it continued to get content for years to come. Now, obviously, as these other games started to come out, like PUBG Mobile, Battlegrounds Mobile India, Free Fire, so many other games started to release, Rules of Survival got less and less popular, and eventually it started to completely die off. And about like 3-4 years ago, they finally did that last Hail Mary attempt like I talked about in the beginning of the video, where they tried to reinvigorate the whole game by turning it into an extraction game once games like Badlanders and a few others started to become popular. But it just didn't really work because Rules of Survival was a very old and outdated game at that point in time. Had pretty bad movement compared to other games, had very low graphics and some other stuff, and it just wasn't really up to par with some of the games that we had about 3 to 4 years ago. So this game, Rules of Survival Revival by Ricardo, is immediately right off the gate not going to have as good of graphics as a lot of the games that you are accustomed to nowadays in 2024 and early 2025. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if this game can properly cement itself as a game that's very optimized for all types of devices, basically kind of like Free Fire did for a long time, then like it would be a very, very popular game even now in the mid-2020s. However, if this game is a very unoptimized game and you can only run it on the highest end devices, I don't see how this game would do very well, because people can play other games like Arena Breakout and Delta Force and all of these other games that are just simply better than Rules of Survival is even now with this recreation. So I think this developer definitely needs to make sure this game is extremely optimized above anything else, and then obviously enhance some of the graphics. And don't be afraid to add a few new features. If you're very, very transparent with the audience, you can poll them. You can ask them questions. Ask them, what are things that never got added to Rules of Survival that people wanted for the longest time, that NetEase never gave them? You can add those types of things if, you know, you have the ability to do that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. This game doesn't necessarily have to be an exact copy-paste of the original Rules of Survival to be a fun game that a lot of people are going to feel nostalgic about. But at the same time, this game is inevitably going to face a very tricky future once it releases, because I would not be surprised if NetEase tries to take this game down. Even if the developer isn't making any money off of this game, he's still basically copying Rules of Survival in its entirety and then letting people play it. And I don't really know how NetEase would feel about that. It's kind of funny considering NetEase has copied other developers, but that's a whole different story. NetEase obviously probably does still own the rights to Rules of Survival, so I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. So, you know, I would just tell people once this game comes out, play this game as quickly as you can for as much as you can, get all of your hours in, get completely satisfied, because you never know when this game will just be completely shut down. However, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope this game does very well. I hope this game can revive Rules of Survival once again, because it's always good to have another game, another option that we can play on our mobile devices. I think it would be a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think about Rules of Survival Revival. I'll put the Discord link down below in the description, and I'll also put a video link to the entire history of mobile battle royale games, including talking about that Terminator mode that Rules of Survival had before it turned into a battle royale game. I'll link that down below in the description. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like and subscribe for more mobile gaming content just like this, and I will see you all in the next episode.